Mary?
Okay, hi everyone. This is a personal message to each one of you. You are the stars for the night, so I would love it if you guys hear it, okay? Dear beloved servants of the Diocese of the Southern United States, we want to begin by thanking you all for your dedication and commitment to the Sunday school service at your local churches and throughout the diocese. Surely you have all individually and collectively made valuable contributions to the service that are greatly appreciated by the diocese, the churches, the families, and the young adults and the children themselves. A successful program requires much organization, much prayer, effective leadership, and most importantly, the grace and the blessing of the Lord who prospers your way through his abundant grace and allows us to see the good fruits of a collective effort. You are each to be commended individually for your love and sacrifice. May the Lord reward you all. We have often said that participating in the service is an honor with an inseparable responsibility. Indeed, those who are called by God to spread his kingdom here on earth bear a burden of responsibility that may be easy for some, but quite difficult for others. We are called to be extremely sensitive to causing others to stumble. But woe to that man by whom the offense comes. Matthew 18:7. Certainly, no one is without sin, but due diligence is to be absolutely observed by all of us so as to avoid offending others. To service involves a yoke that those who are called servants should know well and be prepared to carry. It is for this reason that this service is based upon a voluntary system. Surely no one can be forced to serve. Instead, we all have freely stepped forward and have asked to be counted among the workers in the Lord's vineyard. Consequently, we are bound to observe what the church teaches and expects us without expectation. If these teachings are not in line with a personal lifestyle that the servant is not willing to sacrifice, a clear choice should be made to be excused from the service. The church most definitely respects everyone's choices and urges the servants to do likewise in the context of considering what is expected of a servant and choosing to abide by that standard, or choosing to forgo the added responsibility and be excused. We have often addressed the absolute necessity to be very much aware of our responsibility, to publicly carry ourselves in a manner that befits the glory of God and reflect the sober-minded, temperate, holy, and righteous standard requested of the servant. Confer as of Titus 2:12. This criteria has been repeatedly mentioned, but sadly and unfortunately, there are some who still have difficulty with it and choose to ignore it. Here we go. Below is a partial list of behaviors that are biblically unsuitable, and thus the church views them as inappropriate for a Sunday school servant. 1. Using profanity in any kind of communication, whether via texting, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram posts, or any social media posts. 2. Displaying pictures of themselves, friends, or relatives on Facebook or any social media site that are not fitting for a Sunday school servant. Example, improper clothing, dancing, drinking, etc. 3. Smoking cigarettes or hookah, vaping, drinking alcohol, or using drugs. 4. Spending leisure time in a nightclub, bar, or hookah lounge. 5, dancing or drinking, such as at wedding receptions or gatherings. 6, maintaining an inappropriate relationship, such as a boyfriend or girlfriend relationship in secret without the knowledge of family or the guidance of a confession father. 7, dressing in a way that is not befitting the modesty of a Christian servant and not in accordance with the dress code of the diocese. 8, showing direct or indirect approval of any of those above behaviors. What was number 2? Oh, they need clarification. I like this one. Displaying pictures of themselves, friends, or relatives on Facebook or any social media that is not fitting a Sunday school servant. As we approach the end of another year of service and look forward to a new one, it is time for each of us to examine ourselves to see if we are ready to carry the yoke of the service, or if we would prefer to freely be free of the responsibility that requires of each of us. Consequently, please note that after the new service starts September 2021, any reported violation of the above-mentioned examples will automatically be considered as a request from the servant to be excused from his or her duties as a Sunday school servant. It is admittedly unfortunate and unpleasant that things have reached to this point, but the church feels the weight of responsibility placed upon her to ensure that those who serve in her name do so without being a stumbling block to others. Being always mindful of your great love towards the diocese, your local churches, and the people served, we ask that you are very seriously consider this matter and give it the thought and prayer it demands. We ask you too that you acknowledge this letter by kindly signing below. Thank you.
So as we heard, this behavior, it's expected from any Christian, not just from those who serve. But if it is requested from all Christians, so it's more required from servants. Why? Because of the stumble. We can be a stumble block. Always put in mind everything you do and every word you say, everything you post, every action you do. Kids look at you and they learn from you. You can be a person that gather those people to Christ, and you can be also a person to make people go away from the church and go away from Christ. Even in school, even at work, always pay close attention to everything you do. Yes, they don't know that you are a servant, but for sure they know that you are Christian. And people get to know Christ from your actions. Be careful from everything you do. Now we're going to listen to Abuna Bigol. Then we're going to be giving out the contracts and the certificate, signing the contract and the certificate for the graduation.
Hi everyone. I'm so proud of every one of you today, and I'm so happy that the church keep getting new servants every year. Service is, or to be a servant is an honor in itself. I know it's a commitment, but at the same time, it's a very big honor. And why it is a very big honor? Because you're serving God Himself. So the greater the person you're serving, the more honor you receive, right? Imagine if you're serving the president. That's a big honor. If you're serving a king, if you're serving a very famous man that everyone know about, it's a big honor. It's a big honor to be in his presence, is to serve him, to tell everyone, I'm serving the president. Do you know why? I see him every day. I carry his bag. I do this for him. I do that for him. It's a big honor. So what if we are serving the King of Kings? What if we're serving God himself? You know who served God? Who served God? God has his own servants. Do you know? The angels. The angels are servants for the Lord. So when we serve God, we're doing a service that the angels themselves do. It's a very big honor to be a servant. And it's not, service is not for a specific people. Actually, God asking us all to be servants. It's not about some people in the church, they call them the servants of the church. Actually, God require everyone that he is Christian, that the Lord's name is called upon him to become a servant. And God himself gave us an example when he said that the Son of Man, which is God, did not come to be served, but to serve. When God came, he didn't come to sit down and people serve him. No, he came in an image of a servant, and he was serving others. And we see in the Thursday, the Covenant Thursday, when God himself come and wash the feet of his disciples as a servant. So despite he is so great, the angels serve him, but he came to teach us that I am the great and I served you. So how about you? If I am God and I came to serve, how about you? And actually, God will judge us according to our service. And I'm not talking about service as teaching, as Abuna said. When we hear the word of servant, we came up to Sunday school servant. No, it is not. Service is totally different. And become a servant is totally different. Let's hear the word of God when he said in Matthew 25. Matthew 25. He said in verse 31, when the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate them one from another. We heard it in the gospel recently. As a shepherd divides his sheep from the goats. And he will set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then the king will say to those on the right hand. So here he's talking to everyone. He's not talking to a specific people. He's talking to every Christian. the king will say to those on his right hand, come. Let's focus, guys. Come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Why, God, we're gonna inherit the kingdom? Why? For I was hungry and you gave me food. Is this a service? It's an act of service. I was hungry, you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you took me in. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, thirsty and give you a drink? When we did see you? And the king will answer and said to them, assuredly I say to you, inasmuch as you did it to one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me. So when I serve anyone, it's like I'm serving God Himself. I'm serving God Himself. And this is a requirement for every one of us to serve, because this is what God asking us to do. And if we see all the acts that He gonna question us about, it's all acts of service and love. Service and love. So as service is a responsibility and a commitment, it is in itself an honor to be a servant, because you're serving God Himself, the Great. I pray that all of you become very faithful servants for the Lord. I wish you all the success in your life, in every step. Don't go to service without God. This is my advice to you. Don't go to service without God. Take God with you in everything you do. Congratulations and thank you so much. Thank
you. Okay, now I have Avram Wasif. He's going to be the one who's supervising those new graduates and their services. So Bibi will just tell us about the next step.
I'm so excited and proud of all of you guys, my brothers and sisters, for taking the decision to be in the next step with your relationship in God. As Abuna said a couple minutes ago, you're not done learning. We are never done learning. So in your continuation of service, you are going to be expected to learn with me. You're not going to learn from me. We're going to learn together what true service is. So it doesn't matter if you know everything in the Bible or if you know whatever you learned in pre-servants. That's not by itself going to be a representation of Christ's service. If we're going to continue to represent Christ in His service, there's also continued growth. So we're all going to grow together, and there's an expectation that you guys are going to be learning together with our older servants. Yani I myself, I'm with you guys. I'm a younger servant with you, and I want to learn with you. And we're going to be distributed amongst the servants, the older servants, in order for us to continue in our growth. There's an expectation, God willing, that we will continue one-on-one together. So you guys aren't done with me. We're going to continue on a weekly basis. We're going to talk to each other. We're going to have more of an impact together in our service. Okay? Also, once a month, we're going to come together and we're going to actually learn how to actually deliver the Word of God. So it's not just learning, oh, we're going to learn the Bible. No, now we have to deliver it to our brothers and sisters who are younger than us. Right, boys? Okay. God willing, this will be something that will be salvific for you. If you remember, Yani, in St. Peter's epistle, when he said, love others because this covers a multitude of sin. Know that we are full of sin, but because if we love each other and we love those who Christ granted to us, we will also be covered in our sin. I'm so excited to be amongst you guys and learn with you guys. And God willing, we're going to start this journey together. And we're going to continue in it for the next 100 years. Thank you, guys.
Once again, congratulations from all my heart to every single one of you guys for your amazing time that you allowed us to spend together in pre-service the past 3 years. And if you moved less than 3 years ago, so it's less than 3 years. So congratulations, and I pray that God uses every single one of you as a tool to bring people to Christ. As I was telling you yesterday, how like Saint Mark in the day of judgment will come and say, I'm coming, Lord, I'm going to heaven, and I'm bringing with me all those believers that believes on my hand, under my hand. Saint Anthony, all the saints will actually come and bring people with them. I hope that every single one of you will be able to say this phrase, Lord, I'm here in heaven, I worked my salvation, and I'm also bringing more people with me to go to heaven. So it's a big responsibility. I congratulate you all for completing this, and it's a journey. Now we finished one chapter, we're starting another chapter in service and in learning and service. So God willing, you will grow more and more, and may God use the service for your salvation and to help others to be saved as well. Now we'll call every single name. You will come, take the certificate, then sign the contract, then go back to your place.
Nicole Gabriel. Okay, don't. نيرفانا ميخائيل. ميرا البرادعي. ميري إبراهيم. يوأنا سعيد. فيرجينا توادرس. ميريتا عبد الملك. كارين بولس.
ايوه ايوه عايزه برافو عليكي.
ماثيو ديب.